Hey folks, welcome to Chapter 6, Understanding the Management Process. Remember, these videos are really meant for a supplement to your reading, so make sure you read through the chapter and use this video as a guide to just help you understand some of the more important concepts in the chapter. So let's get started. So first of all, our learning objectives will define management. We will describe the 4 basic functions of a manager, distinguish between the kinds of managers, both their management style and department, identify key management skills, explain the different types of leadership and the difference between a leader and a manager, and then discuss the steps in the managerial decision-making process. So first, what is management? It's the process of coordinating people and other resources to achieve the goal of the organization. Okay? Most organizations make use of 4 kinds of resources. I believe we've already talked about these, but they're material resources, human resources, financial resources, and then information resources. Again, material, the things that we use to build or the things that we use to get our services out. Human resources, those are the people that make things happen. Financial resources, that's the cash that we use to make our company successful. And finally, information, those could be financial statements, those could be survey data, any type of information that we use to make our company successful. The management process, this is important. So first, this is a step-by-step process, as well it's a recurring loop. Most of the things you'll find in business it's a recurring loop. So how it starts is we plan, we then organize. Organizing then leads to leading and motivating people to get things done. Then we control, and then we review and modify. And we come back to, we replan, reorganize, re-lead, recontrol, review and modify. And it's just a continuing cycle of the things that a manager does to make our organizations successful. Okay? So let's first look at the planning phase. Basically, planning establishes the organizational goals and how we're going to accomplish them. Typically, this is driven by either a vision, a mission statement, a purpose statement. This is the statement of the basic purpose that makes our organization different from others, right? If you think about different companies, what makes Whole Foods different? What makes Amazon different? What makes Patagonia different? You're looking at Patagonia right now. What is that deeper purpose? It's basically to drive quality, drive the environment, right? Help keep the environment safe, and then and drive quality. And so that's their deeper purpose. For a company like Whole Foods, their deeper purpose is to make people healthier through better eating and better eating habits. So whatever that mission statement is, it's the manager's responsibility to plan to get these goals achieved. Okay. Basically, one of the things that they use to plan is what we call a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis basically understands your company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, so what are our key strengths? That could be the people that work for us. What are our key weaknesses? Maybe our infrastructure isn't as great as it should. What are our opportunities? Our opportunities could be, a new market that we're looking to penetrate. And what are our threats? That could be competition. It could be external threats or internal threats. Okay? So that's the planning piece. We figure out, what do we have to work within our organization? What are our goals and how are we going to use them? Okay? The next part is organizing the enterprise. This is the grouping of resources and activities to accomplish some end result in an efficient and effective manner, right? So we have our human resources, our material resources, our information resources to better understand, okay, we're going to put these together, we're going to come up with a plan, and we're going to go out and we're going to launch it. We're going to figure out how we're going to get this done, and we're going to do it. We're going to execute it, Okay. And then once we've decided what that plan is, once we've started to execute it, then we need to lead and motivate. What are the stories we can tell? What are the tools that we can use to get people on board to follow this vision? Okay. So leading is basically the process of influencing people towards a common goal. Okay. So we may use storytelling. We may use speeches. We may use celebrations or rewards to get people moving towards the same direction, particularly when it comes to like change management or launching a new product. We really need to get people moving towards a common goal. Motivating, that's the process of providing reasons why people should be invested in this organization and the purpose. And then directing, that's the combined process of leading and motivating. Okay. The next is the control function. Basically, the control function is understanding, okay, what's working, what's not working. We set these standards, okay? Whatever those standards are, we want to hit, $3 million in gross margin per month as we move through this new product launch, okay? Or we want to hit a certain amount of customers. So we set those standards. We then measure those standards, that actual performance. So did we exceed our $3 million or did we not meet that goal of $3 million? And if we didn't meet it, then we need to take corrective action. Or if we did meet it, we still need to take corrective action, and maybe we need to increase the goal. And then again, we move back up. It's a recurring loop. We set different standards. We remeasure them, and then we retake action. Right? Corrective action. Okay. This is the controlling function of management. We set those standards, we measure them, whether we meet them or not, we take that action. Okay. Levels of management. The top management, that's an upper level executive who guides and controls the overall fortune of the organization. That's typically your CEO, CFO, the C-level people. Your middle managers, those are the people who really implement the strategy and make sure policies are developed by the top management's policies are developed. And then the frontline managers or the first line managers, those are the managers who basically coordinate and supervise the activities. So they're there getting people to do what they need to get done to achieve the overall company goals. Different areas of management. So you have financial management, operational management, marketing management, HR management, administrative, and then other. So some examples for a finance person, particularly as you look in your careers, in finance, you could have as high as the CFO, you could have a VP of finance, you could have a finance manager, all sorts of managers within the finance area. Okay. They are strictly geared towards, making sure the company has the money that they need to be successful. Operations, that's typically the COO at the C-suite, the chief operating officer. Those are the people responsible for the daily operations of the organization, whether it's manufacturing or sales or anything like that. The operations people are the ones doing the work that the company is focused on. Okay, if it's manufacturing, they're running the manufacturing plant. If it's again sales, they're doing the sales stuff. If it's grocery, they're basically managing the stocking their shelves. They're managing the registers. Okay, so COO, you could have an operating officer. You could also have operating managers, production managers. All those fall under operations. Marketing, those are the people that sell the product, right? Put the ideas together and push out the message of the company. Here you're going to have a CMO, a chief marketing officer. You could have marketing managers. You could have VPs of marketing. All of these are opportunities within your career to move up. HR, those are the people that we'll talk about HR here in the next chapter, but the three things that they do, they hire, develop, and retain employees. Okay, you have the HR manager, the VPs of HR, you have HR supervisors. They're the people that keep everybody happy. Administrative managers, this is the CAO, the chief administrative officer. They're kind of a catch-all for everything else. And so They could be, again, potentially the company, they could be sales managers, they could be administrative managers. And then others would include research, and development, and any other one that doesn't really fit within these organization structures here, these management structures. Okay. Key skills of a manager. There's really, 5 key management skills. Analytical skills. These are the skills required. Their thinking, their, big picture is conceptual here. So the analytical is understanding complex problems. Interpersonal skills are really about communication, about people, like having empathy towards your staff members. Technical skills, those are if you're good at Excel or manufacturing or, operational understanding. These are the key things that are within your job description, those technical things that you need to know how to do. Communication skills, again, that's ties along with interpersonal skills. Can you communicate your message well? Okay. And then the conceptual skills, this really is the out of the box, entrepreneurial, let's look at things a different way. Those are the big picture skills that they would need. We talk about this all the time. What's the most important? Personally, I think all of them are key and all of them are relevant to being a good leader, a good manager. Technical skills are really important. I always have to go back to interpersonal skills. How do you treat your employees? If, in my opinion, human resources are the most important resource, then how you engage and how you work and act and deal with that resource is important. And so as a manager, I think having good interpersonal skills is probably the most important. For an entrepreneur, though, conceptual skills are big. And then I think all managers need to be good, effective communicators. But for me, interpersonal skills are the most important. Leadership. There is a difference, believe it or not, between leadership and management. Leadership is the ability to influence others, right? You always hear do you use the stick or the carrot, right, to drive people, to get people to do things, or a combination of both? Really, leadership is different from management in that a leader strives for voluntary cooperation, right? You don't need the stick. You don't need the carrot. If I have a deeper purpose and you, as an employee, your deeper purpose aligns with my deeper purpose, you're going to do everything you can to help me reach that goal. And then as a leader, it's up to me to guide you and to help you understand that purpose and that vision. And so I should be striving for voluntary cooperation as a leader and not coercion as a manager. And that's the difference. Leaders get voluntary cooperation. Managers typically have to depend on authority and coercion to get people to change their behavior. And oftentimes that just isn't built to last. Okay? People are only going to take so much of that. Different types of leadership. There's formal leaders. They have legitimate power. They have authority. Those are your title managers, finance manager, HR manager. They have the title of manager. Informal leaders, they don't have authority to influence others through coercion or through anything like that. But they may exert influence just because maybe they have knowledge of something, or maybe they're very charismatic. They're an employee that people love, and so they have influence. And so people follow them. I think all of you can be leaders. Anybody, no matter what your title is, you can be a leader, whether it's informal or formal. Both formal and informal leaders make use of several kinds of power, including the ability to grant rewards, the possession of expert knowledge. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about informal leaders. And then the personal attraction or charisma, right? You don't have to have a title to be a leader. That's the one key I want you to get out of this. The decision-making process, basically it's a recurring loop. Again, identifying the problem or opportunity, a manager does that. They generate alternatives. They select an alternative, and then they implement and evaluate, and then they come back. They identify a problem, or an opportunity, they generate alternatives, select an alternative, and then implement and evaluate the solution. Again, everything that you see in business, there's always going to be that evaluation and potentially having to go back to the start and do it again. Okay, so everything is basically a revolving loop. And that's it. That is Chapter 6, Management. I hope you all are having a great day, and we will talk to you soon.